What's up, boys?
Yeah.
Good.
What's going on?
What's up, Tonio? The Predator? Are you the so tell me about the Predators, because I know Kai was a Predator, and then how did that all come about?
It was Dave Palumbo when I won the Indie Pro in 2021. Yeah. I brought in my pro debut in the 212. And that's when I first, hit the scene that anyone's even, heard of me. And that's when Dave started saying it. That was a Predator of 212. And then I got 10th at the Olympia that year for the 212. And then I remember it was a fan comment under one of my pictures and was like, because my name used to be Mutant Made. And he was like, yo, you should go with the Predators, better fit. So I did a poll in my story. Go to Predator or go with Mutant or stay with Mutant. And then everyone was like, Predator, that fits you better. So we ran with it.
So how old are you? And then like how tall are you? Because a lot of times a lot of people have trouble like on stage, like especially you. It's hard to tell how tall you are and your stats and all that.
So I'm 5'8", and I'm 33 years old.
Okay, young. All right, cool. So King, how are you? I know you rushed and just made it, right?
Yeah, man, I just made it. Tony, we've never met. How you doing, brother? It's good to finally
Man,
fucking meet you.
You as well.
Much respect from me, conditioning wise. I'm a conditioning guy. So conditioning wise, whenever somebody comes in that type of condition, I know that they know suffering. And if you know suffering, and so much respect for me. I really appreciate your physique. I gave you lots of props last time I saw you on the Olympia. I thought that you looked fucking fantastic. So much respect.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, man, Armon, I'm good, baby. We need people like this to come on. And you said you have what, 33?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're still young, man. You're at the beginning. You're at the beginning edges of this whole bodybuilding thing. So that's good to hear that. I like that.
So
that's good to hear. My son's always calling me old.
Nah.
How many kids you got?
I have 2 boys.
2 boys. Okay, yeah, I got a boy and a girl, and King's got a boy and a girl too.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
We're all daddies here. So
yeah,
bodybuilding, me and King last week we were talking about bodybuilding and being dads, and so many bodybuilders are so selfish, right? And a lot of them don't want to have kids, and a lot of them like Jay and never had kids, and a lot of people like I never want kids, and I used to be like that too. I never want kids, but so you had your kids young, right?
Oh yeah, right before I got out of high school. Well,
okay.
They're pregnant in high school, and then right out of high school, here they are. Graduation.
So I guess let's get rolling with your story. Like of course I've heard it, on some other podcasts, little bits and pieces, and how you got into bodybuilding and all that, and your upbringing, and just let it roll.
Oh man, so trying to think back as far as I can with it all.
What made you want to get into bodybuilding? Like for me, I went to Venice Beach one time with my parents, and I saw bodybuilders walking around, and I'm like, I want to look like that because that looks superhuman. I wasn't like bullied or picked on or anything like that. And King, what'd you get into it for?
My high school, everybody lifted weights. So after school, everybody went to the weight room. I went to the weight room. I just responded faster than everybody else. And people started to call me Cobra because I had lats. They're like, how'd you get those? I'm like, get what? They're like those things on your back. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they are. I'm just working out like you guys. And then that was number one. Number two, for girls, man. We all
yeah.
That's
girls
it.
like muscle back then.
As much as people sit there and try to say girls come out there like, I don't like, just because you're not the kind of girls that we like. We like hot fitness model type girls. You're not what we like. So yeah, that was it.
But especially King, in our day, your day, girls loved muscle then. Then, Tonio's era, it started coming up. People like the girls are going on these guys with the skinny jean phase and and all that phase and all that. But so Tonio, what was your inspiration and all that to kind of get into this whole crazy, thing we call bodybuilding?
Actually I was my goal was football. I was going to school for playing football. I was going around practicing with different teams for football. And then I had so many hamstring injuries. It just kept happening over and over again. So then I was just like, okay, got to find a new route. But I knew once I came back home to Reno that I wasn't going to settle with working for, anybody else. And because I stayed in the gym still, continued to work out the way I knew how as a, athlete would. And I met my ex, and her dad was into competing. He was around the bodybuilding scene for a while. He knows Milos and all those guys. And so she was getting ready for a show, and then she was like, "You should do it." I was like, "Yeah, right." The show is probably 4 weeks out at this point, and we went to Santa Cruz. Then we got back, and I went to Phil's Discount Nutrition here in Reno, and I was like, "Hey, you asked me to do a show, I'll do it." He was like, "Don't worry about anything. I'll cover everything for you." So I'm like, "All right." So he right in that moment, he taught me all the poses. Well, he showed me the poses because my posing was still shitty. But yeah, he was just like, going into the show, keep doing what you're doing. You look, stage ready already. So I was like, all right. And I was working for him at the time also. So I ended up, he ended up coming in on my lunch break, and I'm eating In and Out from across the street. He's looking at me like, dude, the show's in, 2 weeks. What are you doing? And I was like, doing what you said. Keep doing what I was doing. He's like, this is all you eat? I'm like, all day. And ended up going into the show, and I won the overall. I was in light heavy division, won the overall. And just hearing, because I wasn't known by anybody, but hearing people like screaming my number, and now they're screaming my name, I was like, okay, I like this. So won the overall. He's the promoter of the Motherload. He sent me to Canada to compete, to the Vancouver Pro Amateur Show. Had no idea what a national qualifier was or any of that. I just thought it was another show in a different place. And I ended up getting third there. And I remember backstage, all the other athletes was like, dude, like, you're going to win, Like, what are you taking? What's your cycle? What's your stack? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you take? I'm looking at them like so confused. And I told him I was taking, it was YK11, SARMs. Okay. I was taking that, and I showed them that. They go, "What the fuck? That's candy. Like, what is that?" And I ended up getting third there. But after that, like, I took that kind of hard. So I was like, "Yo, I suck. Not as good as I thought I was, So I was like, "Okay, trying to find a new outlet. What else is there?" And the promoter was like, "Coming back, you need to do out of town shows. Don't do anything local." And I thought I did something wrong, And he was just like, "No, you're talented." So I went to Vegas and competed. I won the overall there. Samson paid for me to go to USA's, and I won nationals. And it was, all she wrote after that. COVID happened. I took a break. 2021 came, started competing again. And yeah.
So growing up, obviously, you've been open about like growing around, rough, upbringing or gangs and all that. You want to get into that and how you kind of steered away from that?
Yeah. So growing up, my older sister, she was the first one, out of all of us to become well, besides my uncles, because they were also in the gang. They were in when Reno was 702, they used to call it, the 70 Deuce. So they were deuces back in the day. And then so we grew up seeing that. They didn't necessarily let us see anything as far as what they did, but we knew what's up. They were all big as well, all built. Then my older sister got into the gang life, and she was with a Hispanic gang called TJ. And they would come around the house and, hang out all the time. And things they would talk about, like fights they did or shootings that happened or whatever they did, and the way they talked about it, it was like, oh, damn, that's cool. We looked up to that. And we used to hang out with them too, like hang around them. They didn't let us see anything, but we would be able to hang out in the front yard with them, whether they were drinking and smoking, we're all out there. And then as I got older, that same gang, the younger kids that were in that gang, Westlows, those were called your dirt murkers. And I was friends with all of them. So not necessarily was I affiliated like in the gang, but I was with them. If a younger gang tried to step up to them, the older ones wouldn't do anything. They'll send us to go handle it. So that's what got me going, was that.
Were you already fighting at a young age already? Or?
Oh yeah. I would say we were raised on aggression, you get a lot of people who talk about, you know, how their moms would read them bedtime stories and shit. Like they didn't know who Santa Claus was until they were in middle school. You know, that was something we knew at, you know, elementary school right away. My mom would say all the time, I'm Santa Claus, you know, I get you what you want. There's nobody bringing anything to you guys. No Easter egg bunny, none of that shit. And when we would play outside or anything, you know, you cried, it was stop being a girl, go in the house so you can stop crying. You know, don't play if you're going to cry like a sissy. But the moment we talk about how we just fought and handled some business or whatever, it was glorified. It was, there we go. Like, hell yeah, you whooped his ass. You know, we were praised for it. So that was the better route to take, you know. Don't be soft, not as a male. You know, that was for the girls, you know, even crying. As a group of men, when we'd get together, that's when we were able to vent. And, you know, if one had to cry, we allowed so. But around women, that shit didn't fly. Not even around your mom. And so, and I think it was the way my uncles are, is like they call the women in our family queens, you know, and no matter what, our job is to protect them, and we show no weakness to them. And with them, it was vice versa too. But they always had to be strong for themselves also, you know. And so that's why I say we were raised on aggression. You know, our love was you have food in the house, you have a roof over your head, you're not wearing the same clothes every day. We love you. But being told that wasn't a thing.
Cool.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah. That aggression that you're talking about, how's that? Is that what you're using for bodybuilding? Because that's what I do. Whenever I want to, or somebody comes to me, or they ask me for advice in the gym, I always tell them, think of something that pisses you off. Think of something that makes you angry, and then start lifting weights. That's what I use. I've always used anger as like the Hulk. The angrier I get, the stronger I get. Are you the same?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So back to, you know, being aggressive, you know, football. So it wasn't until, so when we would fight, like I would smile while I fighting. I loved it. And people would always say it too, like, yo, if he's yelling at you, I mean, you're safe right now. So when he starts smiling is when you know, worry. And it was football. First year ever playing football. I remember I got ran over by a fucking quarterback. And I mean, he fucking cleaned my clock. And my uncle started talking shit to me. And like it pissed me off so bad. So I started hyperventilating. And when we did a drill called Tunnel of Love, you know, we met again. And I mean, I took that dude's helmet off, turned it sideways. And then from there, I knew like, okay, we just unlocked something different. So every game, my uncle would get in my face, I hyperventilate. But the problem was I wouldn't last past the second half because now I'm on the sideline trying to get oxygen back in. You know, so but that channel towards my fighting, that channel towards sports, and then even when lifting weights now, still to this day, you know, it's that it's something I had to get ahead of because even, I mean, I don't want to say present times, but not too long ago, even I've got into an altercation where I fought 3 dudes, you know, and it was just me and my ex at the time. She couldn't hold me back, and I was just so mad. And the only thing that was gonna make it better is to get my hands on these dudes.
What
and, you know,
started it?
They were walking in the middle of the street. It was peak week. I was getting ready for Legion Sports
Oh
Week.
shit!
And you know, we asked them too, like, "Hey, like, move out the way." I honked the horn. 2 dudes move, the other one stays. And then when we're driving past, he just, "Shut up, bitch." And that's, you know, all he had to say. And then when I confronted him, he called me a boy. And the way he said it just didn't sound right. And so that's what I smacked him.
Like a racist tone.
Right,
boy.
exactly. And she gets out the car when she walked up and she tried to like pull me back. One of the dudes was like, "Oh, your little girlfriend's here to protect you." And so she smacks one of them. And his pride and ego is hurt now, so he has to try to, you know, do something. So I told him, I was like, "Man, I can't let you hit her back." You know, so I mean, you get some frustration, it's gonna be with me. And yeah, I ended up going down. But and that's when I knew, like, okay, I got to get ahead of this because, you know, with the size and the background of fighting and boxing that I do have, this is dangerous. You know, body slammed one of the dudes, and I thought he didn't start. He like held his breath for so long. To where in that moment, everybody stopped and like just waited to see what was going to happen. And he gasped for air. Then we went back to fighting it again. But you know, I was like, that slam could have took his life. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, I got to get ahead of this.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You have
Right,
to
right.
definitely, you have to be careful because the power that we have, the strength that, and there's strength, and then there is losing your mind strength.
Right.
That's when you don't have control anymore. And I've been in a situation like that my entire life. To be honest with you, me personally, I was always the calm one. But there is a line. There's
Right.
a line that line can't be crossed. And it sounds like to me, is what I tell my friends all the time. Fuck that Mr. Miyagi stuff. You're Cobra Kai. Strike first, strike hard,
Right, right.
and let the paramedics sort them out. Yeah, that's it. But again, advice from an older Jedi to the younger Jedi's, like you guys, you have to calm. Try to keep calm. You have too much. There's too much ahead of you. You got so much. The whole world is right in front of you, man. So just you got to be careful with idiots like that.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, being Mr. Olympia or being guy hits his head, he's dead, being locked up for life. Did you get arrested from that incident or?
No, so I have a few friends who are actually, because once when I had got with my ex, I started getting into law enforcement.
There you go.
So I was, with Reno PD. I was with Lovelock Corrections for a while, and so I had a friend in police department. I asked him, I said, "Hey, did you guys get a report or anything about a fight happening?" He was like, "No, nothing came through." He was like, "What happened?" So I explained it to him, and he was like, "Well, you can make a report just so you can already have your story there." So I, filled out that online or whatever, just in case. But nothing ended up coming from it. I actually ended up seeing one of the dudes, and I apologized to him. Even though
How long afterwards?
it was probably about a month or so after. I think he recognized me too because his head went down and he tried to just squeeze around me. And
Were they there for the show? Were they there for the show or
no? They were just
partying?
locals. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I talked to him, even apologized about the whole thing. It's not something that nowadays you feel good about, especially with how once I got into bodybuilding, I started going to schools and talking to kids. And especially when my little brother passed, talking to younger kids was something that became big for me. So I had to practice what I preach, be the bigger man, apologize. It's okay.
Yeah.
A lot of men are afraid to be that. They want to be the tough guy and be hard all the time. So I apologize about it. And I mean, cool with him. I see him every now and then, whether it's if I'm in town or not. And, now it's saying hi. It's not ducking your head down. So to me, that's a win, It's bigger than, fighting someone.
That's a true sign of maturity and strength right there. So absolutely. Yeah. And you brought up a great point that I brought up before many times during the podcast. Well, I don't understand why people are not friends with cops.
Yeah.
They bring, that makes absolutely no sense to me with these people that get their cameras and let me see, what's your badge number? The first thing I do when I go to any town is I become friends with all the cops. They can get you out of anything.
Right.
Right.
This is true.
Tickets, this, that. Yeah. So you did good. That's very smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a lot of cop buddies.
You were blessed coming up. So you never got arrested when you were younger for any of the stuff you were getting into?
No, and thank God I didn't.
Wow.
We did a lot of things. And honestly, it still hits me sometimes, it actually makes you really sad because you could be a reason that there's a lot of people that aren't around today, or why there's a lot of pain for a lot of people today. And whether it's for revenge or protecting yourself or whatever it was, it's not something I wish on anybody. And I think it took for me to have a loss of someone so close to me for me to understand that. Certain movies I won't watch, whether if it has to do something with cartel or, anything gang related or anything like that. Because come nighttime, I have dreams about it.
Yeah.
And I've been told multiple times that in my dreams I fight, and literally I'm moving, I've kicked someone before, I've choked someone before, and even bit, you know what I mean? So it's kind of I stay away from those type of movies because of the traumas that I brought on myself as a kid. Yeah. And and the friends that I had too, quick to take the blame for everything of what if something we had or something that happened or whatever. And it's me being able to walk. And even to this day, like they'll call and they'll check on me just to see how I'm doing and congratulate me for what's been happening. You know, and like I said before, they tell me we better not ever see you around here again. You know, you made it out, we knew you would, and now that you're gone, don't come back. So I think that, you know, that's cool that they still look out for me that way.
Yeah. I
Nice.
understand, looking back even my life of some of the things I did when I was younger, I'm like, man, what a piece of shit I was. Like, and I'm a man of faith, and I've got forgiveness and all that. So you get past that, but still, you just can't forget about some certain things you did to certain people. Like, man, that was like, who was I? And then
Right.
about the whole movie things, that's funny. Like, I don't like any, like, what you watch is what you're bringing into your life or what you listen to. I cut out listening to all the gangster rap that I,
Mm-hmm.
grew up on and music I love. I had, a lot of that stuff I had to cut out because, I've been in trouble with the law a lot. And, my record's awful. I'm a felon. I can't go to Canada. I can't do a lot of things because of that. And my thing was just being around the wrong people, especially women, around a lot of women. Women can ruin your life in a second. We
Oh,
need
yeah.
that. And I'm sure you know that too. And being 33, we look at a lot of people in the fitness industry at a young age, and you critique someone and they're so upset with you. People have, it's just like, man, like, but I've seen you for a while, and like your whole energy and everything, and that's what's refreshing because you make a critique, oh man, yeah, his legs could be a little fuller at this show or this, and these people are actually mad at you. Like the guy, Elliot guy, they just got sick. Me and King invited him on, and we wanted to talk to him about, some alleged things that I got contacted about of him giving protocols out, him what he was taking, all that, and him being 25 years old, instead of just saying, yeah, like I can make other people mistakes. He's like, well, I don't even know who you are, so why would I come on your podcast? And I said, bro, I was like, if you want to be real, like you've been following me on TikTok for a long time because I looked you up and you're following me. So it's like the guy keeps like, I'm like, man, I get it. He's probably amped up on all the stuff. He got sick. He's got all those blood clots. He's going through a rough time, but you grew up fast, and that's a good thing. And that you're blessed that you never got any sort of, real trouble or locked up or anything. And so, here you are now, and you've got an insane physique. Obviously, you've got insane genetics because your beginnings and all that. But what going forward, what's your goals? Short term, long term, and whatever King has to add too.
So short-term goals, I mean, keep doing what we're doing with bodybuilding. It's just slow and steady. And like you're talking about the way, people critique, I hear them. But it doesn't make me mad because it tells me what I can do to be better. So
What
I
are you
listen to
hearing?
it.
What are they saying that's pissing you off?
No, nothing makes me mad, but like an upper chest or better hamstrings, keeping more ab control. And these are things where I'm like, okay, if they see it, then I know the judge has seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I need to, apply that. I need to listen to it. I mean, bigger arms even. So if I'm hearing I guess you call negative feedback, and I apply it to what I can make it positive, then what bad can you say about me? So short term was just continue on, building on what we have, complementing what we have, and making, our weaknesses strengths. That's how you become Mr. Olympia, right? And then that goes into a long term thing is to win. Now, as far as bigger goals outside of bodybuilding, because I mean, I tell people all the time, I bodybuild. I'm not a bodybuilder. It's something I do. It's not who I am. That's not my identity. I'm working on opening up a store here in Reno, a nutrition shop. But the thing is there's nothing here to help the younger generation, especially people who have that power to. So like me growing up as a kid, you didn't hear in California or Texas how good I was at football. We didn't have no one promoting us like that. But if you have these talented kids running around, and where I grew up, we didn't have the money to go to camps. So our training camp was playing with your your team in the front yard playing tag or some shit. You know what I mean? Red light, green light. That taught you your speed. Tag taught you your agility. That was how we grew up. So now if I can take these kids and sponsor them to where now they're going to camps, you know, now they have the NIL deals. So you can't pay them, but you can help them with money. I think that would be my happiness is that because now they don't have to turn to selling drugs. They don't have to turn to stealing and robbing people. And, you know, their family doesn't care because they don't take care of them. So, but this gang takes care of us because they pay it. So that's what I'm going to hang out with. And now they're sucked into the wrong life. That's how I got into it, you know. So if I can pull them this way instead of that way, you know, then that's a win. That's my ultimate dream right there, is to just have that foundation for the upcoming of our future, because the kids now are our future. So I need them to have like a good head on their shoulders, you know what I mean? Not be knuckleheads like we were.
Yeah, it's so rewarding, getting somebody, going in the wrong path, and you see them change. You're like, wow, my little impact on their literally changed their life, and that makes you feel good. And so many people in bodybuilding, all their focus is themselves. I need to get bigger. I need to make more money. I'll do whatever to make money, and they're so selfish. And that's all. Their whole identity is bodybuilding, and they get an injury, they don't have that anymore, and they're lost.
Right.
They get into whatever they don't have anything else. So I mean, when you're doing something like you're doing, helping people, it generally makes you happy, and not just think. Bodybuilding can be so selfish, and some people just want to eat, sleep, and train and do nothing else, and then have all these people, sugar mama, sugar daddies give them money or sell drugs
Right.
the easy way. And, you're out here, doing, things a lot different than people your age coming up.
Yeah,
Question, Tonio, what's your off-season weight?
Right now we're about 256, 257.
Contest weight?
Last contest I did was Cal. We were 223 on stage.
223. How tall? You're 5'8", you said, right?
Yeah.
That's thick. Very nice, very nice. Do you do any personal training?
It was something I was doing before. Now, I mean, honestly, the kids like you see I train in my videos, besides my son, those are just other kids that were in the gym. They liked what they seen, and I was like, come on, you can work out with me.
Right,
so that's my personal training right now.
Okay, cool. All right, very good.
Tonio, how was your diet? Like, we all eat the same shit, right? Different amounts and all that. This guy's asking which diet and supplement protocol. I know you're in off-season phase right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, people love to hear about obviously the gear and the drugs, and me and King talked about it before. A lot of these guys think, these kids are taking so much. They think certain pros are taking like 5 times as much. In reality, no, they're genetic freaks. They're eating, 6, 7, 8 meals, whatever a day, and they're training their ass off. And so, what was your first like big cycle? You're like, man, this is a little scary for me. I'm all these different compounds.
So I mean, I think my first one was the scariest. So after I turned pro was when I was introduced to a first cycle, which was testing the EQ. One of my friends, he works with horses, so he had all this EQ or whatever. So that's where I would get it from. But he would have to do it because I didn't know how to inject for shit, So he'll just tell me, grab your leg and just pinch it like real hard, grab as much meat as you can, and then he'll do it for me. And I'll look away, So I think that was my scariest was that. And then was just testing EQ, nothing crazy. But my biggest one, which I would say, was getting ready for Indy Pro, because then you hear things like test and you hear, train. And I read about this shit. I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be like God's gift to men, But then you hear all the bad about it too. If I'm read something I see positive, I got to go find out what the negative is. And so when I was doing that, I was loving what was happening, body changing and everything. But what I hear people take now, where they're like 600, 700 milligrams of train, a gram of test, I've never been, that crazy about it. It's just a minimal 300 milligrams of trin a week. Depending on the test I'm taking, whether it be 700 down to 300 if it's test P. Um, I never filled up each thing more than a cc of it 3 times a week. I hate pinning. I tell my coaches all the time, yo, minimal, like less is better for me, because it's going to become where I will fucking miss days on purpose. And for a while, it's been like that with this year with Justin, even, where he gave me a protocol. It wasn't that it was extreme, but in my head, I'm like, yo, I don't know how to fit all that shit into just 3, pokes. So I'm not doing that. So, and once he's seen that, but my body was still changing, he keeps it to the minimal now. Right now we do about 700 milligrams test, and I think it's 300 milligrams of Deca, and that's it. No orals or anything.
You mentioned YK11 earlier. Are you still taking SARMs and those things?
I fucking love YK11. Right now, I'm not taking it. I don't have any right now, but definitely. I think I don't think any bad on SARMs if you're using it right. There's a guy that I was training at the gym, and I've introduced him to SARMs, just LGD. Take one for the first week. All you need is one a day for the first week. Well, he started liking what was happening, and we weren't keeping contact or anything. But then he comes to me and goes, "Hey, I feel a little weird." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I've been taking 3." And I'm like, 3 a day? He goes, "Well, I do 3 at a time every day, or 3 times a day." I'm like, "Well, I never said to do that." And he was like, "But I like what was happening." I'm like, "Well, just think of it this way. Less is more. You try to take more because it makes you feel good at one. Doesn't mean you're going to feel great taking, 3, 4, 5. You're going to start feeling like shit. Something's going to happen later." And so I think that's what people need to understand. The more you take of something doesn't always mean the better. Keep it safe. Go slow. Don't rush everything. Enjoy the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of SARMs. I've tried them in the past. A lot of the top bodybuilders, King, Ronnie Coleman, I was, friends with growing up. That wasn't even around. And, when they started coming around a lot of the teenagers really got their hands on them, and, they're shutting all their natural production down, obviously, because they're thinking like, oh, this is like with no side effects. Well, yeah, there's side effects that comes along. It's the same thing, whether it be in a drop or a pill form. Yeah, it's a little easier, but, the thing about it, there's so many companies out there, it's tainted with other stuff. You don't know what's in there. And I've known a lot of people got sick, just with different things, SARMs wise, and it goes with gear too. You never know what you're getting unless you really, really know. King, you're going to Iran to the pharmacy and where it's legal somewhere and actually buying the stuff. But yeah, I mean, you got that physique where you don't need to, blast all that junk. I mean, your body, you're a genetic freak, and all these people need to understand, like, whatever they do or whatever they take, they're not going to look like you. And you can tell that someone 100 times and they still don't believe you.
Yeah. That's what the best way, like I describe it, is no matter how much gear you give a Chihuahua, it will never turn into a pit bull. So it'll just be a bigger Chihuahua, but it will never be what a pit bull is. So I think that's a good way of putting it. Genetics is everything. Hard work is involved. Food is involved. And people think taking gear makes everything easier. And I'm like, that shit makes it 10 times harder. You have to eat more, or you're wasting it. You have to work out harder, or you're wasting it. Then you have to use it. No one likes poking themselves. So, I mean, if I had known about natural bodybuilding, I would have stayed natural for as long as I could. Because, like I said, when I turned pro, I was natural, at USA's. But I was also told, not knowing nothing in the sport, was you have to do it. Everyone does it. There's no way your genetics keeps up with that stuff. But now that, you're there, you're just kind of like, probably doesn't keep up with how fast you can put on size, but it definitely keeps up with how you look.
Gee, how was your appetite? Are you a food guy?
It depends on the food.
Bodybuilding food.
Man, I honestly, once it's prep time, is ready to go, then yeah, I turn into that machine so I can eat chicken rice all day.
Okay.
And I don't eat for the enjoyment of it. You teach yourself to eat for the look, what you're going to get out of it.
But you have an appetite, because a lot of the people who contact me or Armon for coaching, they always say, I have no appetite. I can't eat.
Yeah, you have to eat to get appetite. I have appetite, yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
good. All right, good. All right, understand.
Yeah, I was like that too. I mean, I was the big eater when I was younger. I could pound some food, and then once I got about 25, I had all the acid reflux starting and all that junk, and my digestive. I was a sick kid, so I was sick all the time anyway. So when I started bodybuilding, I mean, I got a lot healthier in a sense, but I'd still get sick all the time. People are like, you get sick from bodybuilding? I was like, no, I was sick as a kid. I was sick all the time. I was getting infection here, this. I had my appendix out when I was 5. I mean, so many different things. What like like we're really open on here. You have a story in the past, maybe you're not proud of or whatever. It's just a crazy story to tell that you're just like, man, that is effing nuts. I'm sure you got plenty the way you grew up, but what's one that's kind of like out there that you're just kind of like you enjoy to tell, or maybe it's cringe to tell, or whatever?
I don't know. I think man, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, man, I don't. It's not that. I mean, don't want to say
Something that
everything. I
hurts
just
still, something that like
Yeah, don't
still
say
like,
anything that's
man,
going to implicate you and
yeah.
get you in trouble.
right? Of
Gotta be
course,
careful what we say.
We all have
right.
stories like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Not gonna get you in trouble.
I guess. Well, where I lived at. So when my oldest son, he was a baby at the time, and there was this guy that would come around um, where we lived at, and his name was Jay Huss, his street name. And this dude would terrorize the neighborhood. He'll walk around chest puffed, and never had issues with him. We kept to ourselves, you know what I mean? So I'd go to work, I'd go home, be with my family. That's it. And because of my son is why I got away from that life as far as being active in it. Well, I remember my cousin got into it with this guy or whatever, and it was my older cousin I got into it with him, and he's coming to me, tell me about it. They tried to jump him, but then everybody's coming to me with the story. They're like, nah, they tried to fight. He was running from him, and he bumped into one of his friends, and like just started swinging like crazy. So I'm like, okay, I'm not getting involved in that, And then my cousin comes to me and goes, well, they didn't tell you how he tried to hit me and he swung over your mom. And when he said that, I was like, now I got to get involved. And I remember telling one of my friends from the gang I used to be with, his name was Vulture. I remember telling him, hey, when you see him, tell him to wait for me. It's green light, no talking. And so he calls me and he was like, hey, he's over here right now. I was like, I'm getting off work, keep him there. So me, my son, his mom, we drive over there. And I mean, I'm driving fast, I'm speeding. We get there and park the car and I start walking up. And he right away, he's like, yo, what's going on? I said, shut up, put your hands up. And so we start fighting. And I remember I seen him swing, like he missed. I'm like, oh, you gotta come faster than that, So we're getting him up. And I remember body slamming him, hitting him while he's on the ground. And I just kept hitting him until I seen his eyes roll. And I told him, I was like, this is my hood. And I asked him if he was done. He said, yeah, get up, I walk away. Everyone around was like, dang, you just got whooped. He just punked you like that. You're not going to do nothing. And my son's crying. He was there through the whole thing. I pick him up.
How old are you at this time?
At this time, I was probably about 19, 20 at this time. Yeah. And carrying my son with me. And while he's crying, and then I look back because everyone's like, yo, tell me to watch out. I look back and this dude's swinging on me. And so I grab my son. I'm holding his head to my chest like this. So as I'm moving, his head isn't, flapping around. So I'm holding him close to me and I'm like dodging this dude's hits. And I was finally able to pass him to my son's mom. And then that's when I went like just blank. And I remember seeing the recording of what happened. And I just grabbed the dude by the back of his neck and I just kept kneeing him. And then I remember trying to walk away and I couldn't walk. So I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? I can't even bend my leg. And on the top of my knee, I still have the line of it. The dude's tooth was in my fucking kneecap.
Oh, shit.
And I couldn't move it. And I'm trying to pull it, and like this shit is not budging. So my friend actually went and grabbed pliers and pulled this damn tooth out of my knee. Had to get a tetanus shot and everything. It swelled up, so we had to make sure no infection or anything happened. But I still, from the times I've seen him, that piece of his tooth is still missing.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, that was one of the many wild fights I've been in.
Get him a tooth for Christmas.
Yeah.
At a young age, I grew up in my mom and dad. I mean, amazing marriage and all that stuff. But I had friends I ran with their older brothers that were in the gang life and all that, and it was exciting to me because I was adrenaline junkie when I was younger, and I learned at a very young age. 17, I was already big at 17. That's the first time I got a gun pulled on me. Showed up to a fight. I was going to fight 3 different guys, got a gun pulled on me, and I'm like, it's not worth it. And I got a gun pulled on me another time too. But I mean, at that time, I was like, yeah, when you're big and you're especially in Texas and you're getting out of your car, like, no one's going to fight you. Like my best friend, one of my best clients, his massage therapist, big, tall, black guy, got out, got in a little incident on the freeway. Was just going to have words with someone. Short Asian guy got out, shot him 3 times in the chest, killed him, and he got off on it just because the other guy was big and I was a threat towards him, and he wasn't even intending to hurt the guy. I mean, so you're very blessed that you never got shot. I mean, I learned at a young age, like, people are not going to fight you when you're just because you're big. It doesn't mean you can fight, obviously, but you got some power. But I learned that at a very young age that, like, it's not worth it. Like, people pull a gun on you. Someone has nothing to lose. You've got, you've all these plans ahead of you. You want to be a bodybuilder. You want to do this, and your life's done. I mean, you're killed. And I'm sure you had friends. I've had many friends that have got their life taken, and it's just not worth it.
Oh yeah, it was weird because we always fought. Like, it was, let's see what your hands do before anything. And we were never the first to pull out weapons. Like I said, we'll box. We'll let you fight one-on-one. Just don't fall, because if you fall, then that means we all get a turn now. And like you said, I have, like, my friend. His name, we call him Damage. But he was the first, like, in our close friend group. He was the first one to end up going. And it was crazy because this dude's been shot so many times. Like, he was gifted with chances after chances. But one time we went to a McDonald's because one of my friend's cousins was dating someone from the opposite gang. And something happened to where she calls us. So we show up, and as soon as we get there, they just start shooting. Everybody's running. One of my friends, his hat, he was wearing a fitted cap. They shot his hat off his head. They didn't hit him, but his hat came off. And then once we all got around each other, everyone's checking on everyone, and we're missing one person. It was Damage. He had got shot with an SK from the right side of his hip, and it came out the left side. And they rushed him to the hospital, but at St. Mary's Hospital here in Reno, they don't have a trauma center, so they couldn't save him. And that's how he passed. My little brother, also gang violence. He was shot 5 times in his back from his own gang. In gangs, if you do something wrong or someone hears something, which is, as I'm getting more and more of the story, when you do something in a gang or they hear something, someone has to reprimand you. You have to get punished for something. But when my brother was in prison, that had happened. When he gets out, someone else says something without knowing what had already happened. So they try to fight him. But the people that they sent to fight him, he's whooping all of them. One gets mad, all it takes is that one shot, and then now it's everyone has to do it, because if I go down, we're all going down. So they actually took turns doing this, and knowing who it was, and just and I'm not gonna lie, like, when it first happened, it was I was at his funeral, looking at him. I didn't care for anything else other than for get back. You take one of mine, we gotta get one of yours. And that sat on me. It sat heavy. And it sucked because these dudes were able to go to prison, and I think prison wasn't the right call. I think they should fucking let them walk until they were caught. And I still feel that way. They don't deserve that. My best friend Ryan, he was a big dude. He was a hybrid linebacker for the NFL. They'll drop him down to DN. They'll let him walk back to linebacker. That's how big he was. And we would tell him all the time, dude, no one's going to fight you. Stop rushing to your sister's calls, because it's going to get escalated. and he ended up doing it on Father's Day. And when they seen how big he was, and he was fighting one of the brothers, the dad came out with a gun, the other brother came out with a gun, Ryan's dad came out with a gun, and everyone's shooting. And the only one to get hit out of all that was Ryan. And Ryan was a good dude. I remember when my son was smaller, we had a porch, in our front yard. And whenever he would hear Ryan's truck pull up, he would dart the door and he would just jump off this porch. And he believed in Ryan so much that he would be there to catch him, that he didn't think twice about it, And for a while after that, he would sit at this door and just look out the window. And I never knew why he would do it until one day a truck drove past and it sounds similar to Ryan's, and I seen how quick he ran to the door. And that's why I knew that's why he would look outside the window for a while, because he was just waiting for Ryan to be there to catch him. And still to this day, I don't talk to those dudes. I don't talk to his dad. I'll talk to his sister every now and then. But man, people who carry guns, I can't stand them. Like, stay in the house if that's what you need.
Let's get back to some positive stuff, right?
Yeah,
We're talking about a lot of violence and a lot of stuff. Let's get back to it. I got a question. This is something Cormier used to ask a lot of people. I picked this up. This one's for you, Chris. Are you a pusher or a puller? Some guys can pull the hell out of some weights, but they can't push. Some guys can push, they can't pull. So when you're lifting, are you a puller or a pusher?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's a good one. I think push.
You're a pusher.
Yeah, I think I'm better at pushing. Yeah.
All right, cool. And what's your training style? Are you volume? Are you heavy? Are you hardcore? Are you Mike Mentzer? How do you lift weights?
I chase volume, but it doesn't matter what weight it's at. If, like, the other day I was squatting, I started with a plate, 20 reps, and I went up until I couldn't get that 20 reps again. So I ended up getting up to 5 plates before walking away.
From what exercise?
Squat.
Squats. Okay.
So you like the old school, you still train hardcore squats. You like the new fancy machines, all the Panada and Arsenal stuff, or you like the old school, squats and all that?
No, I think I'll always use squats. I think it works, It worked back then, so that means it'll work now. I think a lot of the new school stuff is more of a lazy lifting. The pendulum squat. It's a good machine. I have nothing against it. But I don't think it's ever going to be the same, like having weight on your back.
You're saying that because you're 33 years old. Just wait,
later.
Friend, just wait. Let me tell you something. I'm exactly the same way. I like to squat, but right now you couldn't pay me to go more than 315. Not a chance. I'd rather do 20 reps, ass to the floor, back up again, than to go any higher. Trust me, what the most famous quote of all time: "Father Time is undefeated, bro."
And it's hard to understand.
Enjoy it while you still can.
Yeah,
right.
It's hard to understand because you don't hurt. You're like, man, I can just do this and this, and people are telling you. You're just like, yeah, but when you get there, you're just like, shit. And then me and King, we love those machines now, like shit. But yeah, you're at a good spot where you got to be smart with your training too, because even though you're an animal and powerhouse, the tendons, ligaments, it can only take so much, right. So like Dexter did it perfect, like me and King talk about all the time. King did, not injured too, he's still a beast, 270, but getting smarter as you go through your bodybuilding career too with your training. You already got the size, you don't really need to do that. You gotta tell yourself, like, listen, like, I know I can squat 6 plates for 20, but I just know the spine, it's the disc. It's just God didn't make the disc to handle that much weight on your back. So, do you have a gym? What's your gym you train at? Are you in you're in Vegas, or where you at?
In Reno.
Okay.
Yeah, the gym is called Stimulus.
Okay.
So that's like our powerhouse gym besides American Iron. It's Stimulus. Yeah. Flex Lewis was
Stimulus.
Yeah. Flex Lewis was at American Iron before, he started doing his thing in bodybuilding.
Have you been to Dragon's Lair? Have you trained there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have nothing like that here.
What got you?
Wait till you go. Have you been to overseas to train?
Yeah, when I did the Arnold Brazil, yeah.
No, I'm talking about go to the Middle East. Have you ever been there?
Oh no.
Just wait till you see those gyms. That's another world.
Yeah, I see it on Instagram. I'm like, there's no way. That's just the hangout
No,
area
it's
there.
absolutely amazing, and they're so far ahead because they did something so ingenious that the idiots here in the United States don't do. In the Middle East, you can have freelance trainers. They don't care. There'll be 200 trainers in there at the same time, and they don't want any of your money. They just want your memberships. It's beautiful, such a great atmosphere. You know how it is here. You get, as soon as they think you're training somebody, they come, they warn you, they kick you out.
Right.
It's not like that in the Middle East. They don't care. Buy a membership, you can train whoever you want.
Oh yeah, see, yeah, there's nothing like that. You're getting kicked out.
That's why they're ahead a little bit.
Yeah, you got to pay that $1,000 or $2,000 rent, or they're kicking you out. It's nuts. It's in a bat, like King said. It's so stupid. You could have so many more members and this and that, but like now, like you have sponsors. What do you do to fund your bodybuilding? Do you work a full-time job, or what do you do?
My sponsors right now, I do have a few athletes that I coach. I don't get serious about coaching as far as like I'm trying to recruit this huge team. These are friends who their coaches did some wrong with them, so they came to me. So I just helped them out. So I have that along with sponsors. And like I said, I'm working on trying to get the store going. Also,
Awesome.
Who's your sponsors right now? Who you have? Who are you with?
Dragon Pharma, Aslan, Jed North. I was with Chicken Pound. Kind of got away from that. And Biaxle is another one that I've been talking to. So see what's going happens there.
I was with Jed North, I think, for 5 years. I was with Gas 5 years, Gorilla Wear 5 years, and then Jed North, I think 4 or 5 years. But
got you. Yeah, Jed North is cool. They take care of you.
Yeah,
very nice.
That's awesome.
Armon, you got any more things? Because I got something really special I got lined up here.
Shoot.
All right, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a speed round with you, Tonio.
Oh,
all right, I'm gonna say something, and you tell me the first thing that comes into your mind. All right.
People love thinking.
This. I stole this from Drink Champs. I don't know if you ever watched Drink Champs. One of my favorite podcasts ever. So we'll do this. All right. So I'm gonna say something. You just first thing that comes to your mind. Ronnie Coleman.
The GOAT.
Go. Favorite cheat meal.
Burgers.
What kind of burgers? From where? Come on, you gotta be specific.
In-N-Out, double.
I knew he was gonna say In-N-Out. I knew it. Jay Cutler got me hooked on that shit too. Fuck you, Jay. That's all I gotta say to that. Louisiana or Las Vegas?
Louisiana.
How about Louisiana or Reno?
West Monroe, Louisiana.
There you go. All right. Donald Trump.
I'm gonna get in trouble. But I'm glad he won.
You're not gonna get in trouble, man. He's already president, man. You're not gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm happy he won.
All right, cool. There you go. A lot of us are.
Yeah.
212 or the Open?
Open.
Okay. Right. East Coast, West Coast.
West Coast.
There you go. Walter Payton or Emmett Smith?
Walter Payton.
Man, I'm liking this guy more and more, man. It's right up my fucking alley. Oh man. All right, I got one. Who's the best bodybuilder on the planet right now? Keon or Samson?
Samson.
Why?
Keon's the best in 212, but I think put him next to Samson, who's also aesthetically pleasing and conditioning, but a lot more mass, is going to make Keon not look as big as he is.
Okay. Good answer.
Potential wise, I think Keon can eventually pass up Samson. I really do. I think that kid. He can eventually pass up Samson. I think he can pass him up.
I think Keon could go into Open now and do great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which leads to the next question. Are you okay? Do you like the fact that the 212 guys are going up to the Open just to get a bit more cash?
I love that they're coming up. I think that's also going to do something for the league as far as probably take away 212 or make it something different where it's like because when you win nationals, right, they have the super heavies, which are 225 and above. Why not make a division that's 220, instead of just 212? And then you have your Open. But I think bring them all to Open. It's more prize money that way. It also says who is the Mr. Olympia. It's like an all-star league.
100% Kai Green versus 100% Hadi Chupon. Who wins?
Kai.
Right. So thank you. Sugar or salt?
Sugar.
All right.
I'm black.
He's very honest, man. You gotta love that. Roy Jones Jr. or Mayweather?
Roy Jones.
See, this guy, man, all the right fucking answers. Sam Sulek. Be honest. Be honest.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me someone with him.
No. Sam Sulek.
No, what about it? What do you think about him?
Honestly, bro, I mean, he's smart with what he does as far as his fan base. I have nothing against him. I think he should, check diet because that's what Cali Muscle was doing the same thing, and that didn't work out too well. So I think
you think he's a good role model for kids, though. He's not out there telling them to take drugs, but his whole deal, obviously his acne problems everywhere. Do you think he's a good role model for these kids coming up because kids worship him?
Better than most. You have a lot of these younger kids who are preaching, taking train.
Yep.
And I haven't heard him get on that train. He's telling them to eat what they want. He's telling kids a dirty bulk because the metabolism they have. You get away with it. But I don't see him, telling them like, oh, I take, 300 milligrams of this and doing that or whatever. So I have nothing against him. His training, he trains hard. I don't think he needs to train as heavy as he does. But again, kids see it and they want to be that. So if that's what's going to make my kid want to be in the gym, why not? I'll just be there to guide him to make sure he's not doing the same things.
Yeah, this is something that I say to the kids all the time too. When they watch Ronnie's video Unbelievable, they think that that's how Ronnie trained all the time. That's not true. I trained with Ronnie 3 times. He was the furthest thing from it. He trained heavy, but not like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was for video. That was for a thing. I think what Armon is trying to say is you got a lot of guys. I mean, like, come on, like the Trend Twins. And you have you have that, and then you go and all these kids, they worship these kids. I mean, they worship them, and I personally think that it's not good for the sport. I think social media has done good things, but more harm than good.
Oh yeah, it has too much power for those who don't know how to handle it for sure. I met the Trent Twins in person in New York. Good kids. Not the same energy they have when they're on video. They're a lot more calm. But I hear you. Because even my son, who's in high school now, he talks about the Trent Twins. And I'm like, dude, that's just their name. Like, don't pay attention to what it is. If you want to lift heavy like that and be extreme like that in the gym, you could do that to an extent. But don't try to lift what they're lifting. Don't try to copy them to the T. So it's like I said, I don't think we can stop what our kids want to see and, what they flock to. But it's on us to guide them the right way.
Right. Our favorite football team?
Raiders.
Raiders.
Oh, yeah. My whole family is Raiders fans in and out. So,
and the last one is if you could give it one piece of advice to all your fans, all the kids, everybody out there that's listening, what would that one piece of advice be?
It's my favorite quote. If there's no enemy within, the enemy on the outside can do no harm. Insecurities. If you believe in bad about yourself already, when someone tells you that, you're going to believe it that much more. It's going to affect you a lot more. So that's something you should work on. Start within yourself before anybody else. So anything I'm insecure about on my own, I work with that. I figure it out. So now when I hear it, especially in bodybuilding, when we're being critiqued, none of it phases me.
Right. Excellent.
You're a really likable guy. Just from before I even asked you to come on. You in the past, have you had rivals? Have you had haters that just really just got under your skin, or that shit doesn't bother you?
Younger, as being hot-headed,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you want to talk, all right, let's meet up, but now, nah, I think I know there's people around that don't like me. Even at the gym I go to, I know there's people that don't like me and talk bad about me. But I feel like if they're talking bad about me, the only way I can make that valid is by acting out in a bad way. But if I keep my positive attitude and chill, relax, nice to everybody, then I make them look stupid.
Yeah, kill them with kindness, and they're the ones that are you're the bigger man. They can go behind your back and oh yeah, this, but oh man, he was so nice to me. And then you can have someone that completely just hates you just because they're jealous of you or your image or whatever, and then you're just nice to them, no matter what horrible things they've said about you because they don't even know you.
Right.
And they're like, man, you know what? He's actually a good dude, and then it changes other people's perspective of you.
Right. And that's what I tell people too, always check yourself, be the story where it's, if someone's said I'm mean to them, ask them what they did for that to happen. I'll never go around just, flashing out or yelling at people or anything. Like I said, the same way, I smile on stage, that's me in real life. I walk into the gym, I'm smiling, I'm laughing with everyone. I don't care who you are, older, younger, bigger, smaller, whatever. I'm gonna treat everyone the same, treat the gender like I would the CEO. Be cool with everyone. And like you said, it changes the perspective of what everyone thinks of you.
You got a really bright future ahead of you. You got a good head on your shoulders. What is your future plans show wise? What do you after this off season? What are you shooting for? Are you just kind of like seeing when your body goes, and then what's the right time?
They moved Legion Sports Fest up to May 31st, so we're gonna go for there. It's here in Reno, so I was like, why not just hang out in your backyard and do a show? I thought about Chicago, I thought about Vancouver as well, but Legion is the one. But I like to compete, so I'm sure we'll end up throwing another one in there somewhere.
What are you looking to bring different than you were on stage last time?
Conditioning. Bring better conditioning, more size.
Okay. Awesome. King, anything?
No. I mean, first time meeting him, great guy, great future. He's got that vengeance and that Cobra Kai mentality, which I love. Strike first, strike hard. And yeah, it sounds to me that you've matured enough that you realize that that Tonio that was there 10 years ago, he's got to take the back seat to the new guy. And believe me, when you hit 40, you're going to have another transformation. Once again, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, okay, man, that's 10 more years. I got, every time you hit a new decade, you change. Something inside you changes. So I think you're in the right spot, man. Great guy. Best of luck, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, you too, brother. It's funny because you talk about like just picture how scared you'd be of your like 17-year-old self right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, bro, you got everything going for you. Be careful in the gym. We don't want to see you get injured or anything and take you out. Seems like everything else is lined up. I wish you luck on your store you're trying to open and all that, and you got a bright future ahead of you. I'm excited to see what you do in Reno and your career coming up, and appreciate you for coming on the Iron OGs. Me and King, we just got this rolling just literally last month. To have a podcast that's actually real. We're not going to mix up stories or dance around certain topics that most other podcasts do, and we're not afraid to talk about anything. I'm open with my past and crazy shit I've done that I'm not proud of. Keem's open about his past, and we've got a lot more stories to come. So, thank you for coming on and taking your time. We got you in quick too, because I messaged you just a few days ago, and so we made our schedule work, and that's a hard thing, getting the schedule to work, and so I appreciate you for coming on, Iron OGs. And King, if you have nothing else.
That's it, man. Good meeting you, brother. Be good. God bless. Hopefully I'll see you on the Olympia stage.
Oh yeah, we'll be back. Definitely be back.
God bless, brother Tonio. Talk to you later, brother.
You guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.